Peace and one love. This is Elijah X. Here from the African People of Love. Trying to broadcast to you today, and I want to talk to you about our life. Many of us don't want to classify ourselves as one people. We want to always divide ourselves saying, I'm Jamaican, I'm African, and whatever else that I am. First of all, you're not Jamaican, you're not Ethiopian. You're not Jamaican, you're not African. You heard me many times tell you that I don't like to use the word Africa, because Africa is a name that was given to us. See, everything we use is what's been given to us, and it's not of us. And we seem to forget about that because we don't talk about it enough. As I said once before, my name is Elijah X. I'm the CEO of the African People of Love, the kings and the queens of Africa. We are a revolutionary organization. But our war is against the beast. And when I say it's against the beast, it's the beast that has been formed within us. It's a war of the mind. It's cleaning out everything old and replacing it with all new things. We cannot continue to think the way that we have been brought up to think. We must truly question everything that's been given to us. Our religion and everything. So this is why I'm here today. I want to talk about our African history, our biblical history. I want to talk about Ethiopia, the kingdom. I want to talk about African Jews. I want to talk about the Ark of the Covenant in Zimbabwe. I want to talk about all these things, and I want us to listen to this brother as he speaks on the truth. We have got to understand that we're all one. We got to quit dividing ourselves if we truly want to beat this beast. If we quit dividing ourselves, then we're going to protect one another, because we are of one another. To protect one another will be like to protect ourselves. We're one people, one body. So if you hurt any part of the body, the rest of the body is going to feel the pain of that hurt. So let's go on, because that's a whole new subject. But let's get on with this.
Hey, so Ethiopia, the first utopia. When you think of Ethiopia, what do you think about? What do you see? Ethiopia was the first utopia in the world. And Ethiopia is where we get the Pan-African colors, or the Pan-African colors are in Ethiopia. This is a country that, however you look at it, it's either the country that got its emancipation first, or it's a country that was never colonized, because it was occupied, but not completely colonized. It was occupied by Italy. Ethiopia is one of the most interesting countries in the world. It's mentioned in the Bible. And when it's mentioned in the Bible, it's crucial to understand that Ethiopia refers to Africa. Ethiopians are Africans. Ethiopians are Africans. Africans are Ethiopians. Everyone in Africa is an Ethiopian. This is why we have the same flag.
Now I want to stop right there. You notice that he said, everyone, not some, not one part, but everyone that is of the dark-skinned descent, every African. You're all one. You're all Ethiopians. Because before it was called Africa, it was Ethiopia. And the whole continent was Ethiopia. The whole continent. He's going to explain to you how I got the name Africa. So when you call yourself an African, you're calling yourself by the name that was given to you by another race of people and not by your actual name. You have broken the connection to you and your people. Because you have broken and given up that knowledge. And a lot of you never been taught this. So hopefully once you learn this, you'll stop calling yourselves Africans and start calling yourself Ethiopians or Nubians. Not Christians, Nubians. You have to classify yourself as a nation of people. Of people that are one and united. Let's get on back to it.
These colors, like the green, the red, the gold, these are the Ethiopian colors. To be Ethiopian or to be Ethiopian does not mean that you're physically in that place, because it's an understanding. Just like having Zion doesn't mean that you're physically in a certain city made by God. It's an understanding. It's an agreement. It is knowing true dominion and territory. So Ethiopia is a place that can be anywhere. This is why Jamaica is Ethiopia. The people in Jamaica are Ethiopians. People in Africa, the Negroes, so-called Negroes, they are Ethiopian.
Stop. Did you hear what he said? That the people in Jamaica that call themselves Jamaicans are Ethiopians. That is where you originated from, Ethiopia. Whether it was north, south, east, or west, it was Ethiopia. It's the only place you could have originated from, because that's the place that we all come from. Learn about your home. Learn about who you are, so that you can become one again with your people. If you're Haitian, you're not Haitian, you're Ethiopian, because that's where you originated from. But you just happen to be in Hades. Hey, let's go ahead on with this. See if I can get it back going.
So Ethiopia is a generic term that is used for all Africans, and this is how it's applied in the Bible. So when the Bible is speaking of this place called Ethiopia, it's speaking of a place where the people called Nubians. These Nubians are, like Nub actually comes from the Egyptian, which means gold. So this is the places of gold. And Nubian also means just black-skinned. These people were burnt-skinned. So all of the Ethiopians were black people. So back in the day, to get an understanding of this, back in the day, if I were to go to Germany.
Before you go any farther, all black people were Ethiopians. All. Listen. All.
Right? Germany doesn't exist then. But then if I were to go to Germany, they would just say, hey, check out that Ethiopian dude. So Ethiopian is just referring to these people. And people who come from a certain continent. And within that continent, of course, you have different types of people. So it's just like how you'd see like European people as being the same, but Irish is different, you know, but they're all European. So this is the Ethiopian understanding of it. Ethiopians are Africans. So Ethiopia was the first utopia. These Ethiopians actually encompass also these Egyptians. So all of the land was just generically referred to as Ethiopia. Just like how Europe is just referred to as Ethiopia, but if you think of like England, UK, Britain, these are different, but they're the same. Okay, so the first utopians were these people who had this understanding, and they were able to teach people. This is how people came to Africa. They used to learn from these Nubians. So they used to learn from these burnt-skinned people. So this happened for thousands of years. But
now don't get offended when I call you a Nubian, because a Nubian is what you are. Dark-skinned, as they will say, burnt. Know your history. Claim your history. Search. Become one with your people, because you are one. And the only reason we are down and the adversary have his feet on our neck is because we have divided ourselves. And the house or the people that are divided will fall. We have failed and been down a long time, but we're lions. Let us rise as a mighty lion. We can't be mighty unless we all become one people again. Let us stop looking at other nations and other races for what we need, and let us look to one another, and that we don't have that we need, let us seek ways to create that and form that out of us and not another. You, us, we can do this. Let us invest in our own and not in others. Let us wear our attire and not the attire of others. Let others buy from us. We, as a people, can do this, but we must first become united within our minds, and we can't do that until we begin to renew our minds. And I'm going to get on into this.
Slave trade happened. The thing is, the Bible was used as a means to enslave the people's minds. So as it happened, is that like the people came with this idea, this ideology, in order to get people to be subjected to them according to the principles that they were interpreting in the Bible. So one of the reasons that they justified the slave trade was to say that Africans are not human because they are the sons of because they're the sons of Ham. So Ham, if there's a story in the Bible where Noah is drunk, and then one of his sons, apparently in a mystery, uncovers his nakedness. So people believe that Ham slept with Noah's wife or did something of that sort. And then Ham had a curse, but the curse was put on his son called Canaan. So Canaan is Cain and Abel. This is where the curse is. This is the person who was cursed in the beginning. But anyhow, Canaan went and settled in the Middle East, while the other sons of Ham, so Ham had 4 sons. Ham had 4 sons, and these ones came, the 3 sons came in Africa, the 1 son went to, stayed in the Middle East, and these are the Canaanites. And when you're referring to the Canaanites, you're referring to them. So when slave trade happens, it was actually based on this biblical principle that was saying that since these people were cursed by Ham, then they're supposed to be our slaves. So you have to understand that this happened 400 years ago. And now it's time to set the people free. It's been 400 years of slavery. So it's now time to leave that paradigm. It's now time to leave those pyramids that they've been building in the minds of the people, these hierarchies that they've been creating with this false ideology. It's now time to leave.
I stopped there because I really want you to listen to that part. As I told you before, our war starts and ends in our minds. We are at war with the beast because we are fighting to hold on to our knowledge, to our way. We have to understand everything created was created by us. And the things that you see are often imitated, but they're never duplicated because we are the main creators. We stop depending on ourselves and look into the false one for our way when we are the original people. Think about that, and let's go.
That and go through another Red Sea, go through another rebirth, because everyone comes out of the water, just like how the Israelites came out of the water. So it's been 400 years since they've enslaved.
And I'm going to stop them there too. Yes, we all do come out of the water. And where is the water? The water is in the mother. Mother Africa herself. Your mother, my mother, our mother. That black woman. We were in her womb. In the water. Until the bag busted in order to let us out.
Whole nation. And it's up to us if we want another 400 years of this type of slavery, you know. So it's just about understanding that the truth is in the Bible, but when you know the truth is in reality, that Ethiopia was literally the first utopia. This is where people were developing skills, mathematics, they were developing engineering, they were developing science, they were developing engineering, technology, mathematics, astrology, everything. And these things.
Who is they? Who is they? They is us. They is us.
Are what we still use today. So believe it or not, it's weird, but these things are, this is the holy grail of Western society, of Western civilization, things that were discovered thousands of years ago by Ethiopians. So these Ethiopians, as I said, these are just people from this continent of Africa, and it's actually not called Africa, it's actually called Ethiopia. That's the thing. Africa is the name of a conqueror, a Roman general who was Scipio Africanus, who defeated Hannibal. When he defeated Hannibal, Africa took its name. And there was also another Greek person who used to sign his letters. Like, he used to research Africa, and people believe that this was a black Greek because the first Greeks were black, the first Romans were black, they were Ethiopians. But anyhow, this person was called Africanus, so he always used to write his name after his letter, Africanus. So this is also where this name is derived. But the word for it was Ethiopia.
Yes.
So Ethiopia is referring to the skin of the people.
Yes.
Ethiop.
Yes.
So these Ethiops were people who were black skinned.
Listen.
And they had woolly hair.
Listen.
These people were renowned for their erudition and for their skills in learning. So understanding that because 400 years is a long time to be a slave, to be trapped, you're bound to lose your humanity when people treat you as being subhuman. I was watching so many documentaries about how people view Africans, and it's actually the prevailing point of view that European media wants to postulate the fact that Africans are so subhuman, as if the problems that they caused in Africa are not the fruits that we see today. That a person would come into a country and just say that, hey, all of this land is now mine, and I'm going to kill everybody who is living in this area, and we are going to be mining for the rest of our lives, and we're going to start building with your labor. And is it that's not enough? Other people are going to be like, all right, now we're going to go to this city, we're going to raid it, and all of these people are going to go and live in America as slaves. And they wouldn't just take like just this skinny little dude, but they would take the strongest, bind them, whip them, beat them, and keep them for years under servitude. And some of these people were actually kings. Some of these people were royalty, nobles, wise men. But if you were a person of wisdom, they would kill you. So many Ethiopians were murdered, Nubians were murdered, because of their knowledge, because this was war, this was a conquest. So if you justify this as war, then this is so barbaric that...
if you justify this as war, then that would mean we, as their people, them are our ancestors, we are still at war, because our situation has not changed, but has got worse. So instead of fighting one another, we should be standing with one another, fighting with one another, not against one another. Come on, my people. Come on now. Wake up. Wake up.
They would say that we're giving them this word of God, we're giving them this knowledge and understanding of God, but let's first kill them. And let's kill the barbaric, and they don't deserve the same thing as us. And this is something that was ingrained in the people's mind, something that I still see with my own eyes today, that people still have not left that colonialist mentality, because they believe what they were told, that they were nothing. So when you read the Bible, this is a book that was used for a certain purpose in order to trap people, because it's that powerful. But when you look at it, when you look in the Bible, when you look in reality, you realize that Ethiopia, through Aksum, which was a kingdom where the Queen of Sheba reigned, who is Makeda. Sheba means wisdom, the Queen of Wisdom. So this is why she was looking for wisdom. She went to find Solomon, who had wisdom, so she found wisdom. But she also had wise questions to ask him, which shows that she is wise. So, Queen of Sheba, Makeda, and she went there, and she actually used to reign in a certain place that was adjacent to, like, that is on the Red Sea, which is the kingdom of Aksum. Today it's Eritrea and Somalia, and a little bit of Ethiopia, because these were just lands, no borders. And she used to have that kingdom on the African continent and in the Middle East, because this is how they used to roll. So her kingdom was part of Saudi Arabia, Oman, and Yemen. This was Aksum. So we know that it was at least that big. This is how she was just able to travel north and then to go and see Solomon. So through this, she was actually controlling trade through the Red Sea. Ethiopia was actually controlling trade in the whole Asian and African continent, which was also linked with the European and Western countries. This is actually the Silk Road. The original Silk Road is the Ethiopian trade route. So if you look at the Ethiopian flag right now, it has this star. This star is what they want to recreate as the Silk Road in terms of China, but this is originally Ethiopian. So they had all of this wealth and this control of this trade route, because this was before the Suez Canal. So for anyone to transport goods through the Mediterranean to go to Spain and Europe and stuff, you'd have to go through Egypt for a shorter route, unless if you want to go around the world. So this is how the Red Sea was so important for Aksum. So Aksum was very dominant in commerce and in all of the international transactions. And through this, it was able to interact and to trade with different countries all over the world. So it was a major, major city in its time. And it was one of the most renowned cities in its time. This is kingdom, sorry, not cities. Aksum was a kingdom. And this was the place where Christianity actually started within the African continent. That the first people who were converted into Christianity were in this kingdom of Aksum, which is in Eritrea. And this spelled over to Ethiopia. And today, Ethiopia has the oldest churches in the world, has the oldest Bible in the world, which is called the Ethiopian Bible for some reason, but it should just be called the Bible. But it has the oldest Bible, and it has the biggest Bible, by the way, and it has the understanding of the scripture because they were able to actually transcribe all of the scriptures into a language, an African language. An African language. This is important to understand that they'll tell you that in Africa they didn't have language, communication skills, literature, but they have G script, and through this language they were actually able to translate the Bible, which is not an easy task, because what you're doing is you're translating this in terms of meaning, resonance, and metrics. Verses are metric compositions of words. So you need to have the understanding of numbers and words and letters and resonance and all of these things. So they translated the Bible into G script. And so many countries in Africa actually had their own languages. Even Liberia had its own language, like Cameroon had their own alphabets. Like literally all of them, because these people were Ethiopians. So an Ethiopian is a person who is referred to as being of black skin with woolly hair, right? So this is not something that is given to a certain one country. But the reason why everyone is Ethiopian is because Ethiopia is not conquered, and Ethiopia, or was not conquered. This is the understanding of what Haile Selassie did on 4th through. This is the hypocrisy of the League of Nations and of the UN. Yes. That was exposed through his reign, because these are the people he was fighting against. Mussolini actually went to Ethiopia and occupied it for 6 years, and the League of Nations didn't do anything about it. They were actually just saying like, all right, it's bad, but they didn't do anything about it. And this is one of the reasons why the League of Nations didn't work, because of Haile Selassie. So Ethiopia was a major key party in the whole world. Haile Selassie was an actual emperor who traveled like over 100 countries. In his reign, he went to over 100 countries in the world as the King of Kings. And his name means the one with the power of the Trinity.
Now, do you see? That's what I want. That's another thing I wanted my people to hear. When you read about the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, it's talking about a people, a king, a man like ourselves who was in rule, but he was in rule and power because his ruleship was shrewd. He ruled for his people. He made his people into one. If you ever watch Shaka Zulu, that movie, you see how Shaka Zulu went out and gathered his people and made them into one. And all that was not with him, he eliminated, because he knew he had to be one. So either you was for him or you was against them. That's what we must understand. Everybody ain't our people because they look like us. They should be, but they don't think like us. So therefore they become our enemy. And it's up to us to know our enemy. Our enemy used to be taught to us back in the day, but our enemy is not taught today. Your enemy is anyone that goes against your will to do that which you know, which is in you, which is right. Anyone that tries to steer you away from that which is right is an enemy to you. Anyone that tries to steer you away from learning who you are and teaching you that you are a being similar to them, which means you're less than a being, because now you've been taken from who you truly are. And if they're teaching you this, that's your enemy. That's your enemy. We have to understand that. So let us get on back into this.
So Ethiopia has one of the oldest churches, Ethiopian. So when you read the Bible, when you look in the book of Acts, you're gonna discover or come across the story of Philip. Philip is in an area, he's healing people, he's raising paralyzed people, and now they're walking, the lame can now walk and stuff like that. And the Spirit tells him, hey, go to this desert area and you're gonna see someone there. He goes into a desert and then he sees this Ethiopian eunuch. This eunuch is like a person who works in a kingdom, right? A eunuch. So he's in a court, and he's a person of wisdom, obviously. So he's actually in Israel. He's traveling the world. He's an Ethiopian, a black person, and he's actually in a chariot. So he's actually a person of riches and of wealth. But what's important is he's actually reading. He's actually reading. You didn't know that people from Africa could read, right? But this is like the same year that Jesus died. So this is 2,000 years ago. So Jesus has just died. Philip is in the Holy Spirit, and this guy is already reading a scroll of Isaiah that he got. So first thing, he's rich, okay? He's a eunuch, so there's a kingdom somewhere, because there is an actual queen mentioned in his kingdom. So he's part of that regime. So he's with other black people, because he's being escorted by these people. And he speaks to Philip, and he gets baptized in the process, and the story goes on. So this happens in the New Testament, right? In the Old Testament, we all know the story of Solomon and how the Queen of Sheba went to him. Right. So and she was an African woman, yes, an African queen. Yes. So meaning that there was already this kingdom, there was already a queen of wisdom. She was the wisest person before he came. That's why she had to go to him and see if the wisdom was true. So she was renowned for her abilities, because this is back in the day when women didn't have the status, but she had this queen status. Anyhow, she creates this offspring. Like with Solomon, they have a child, and this child ends up being Menelik, who ends up being a great, and then Solomon is the descendant, is the father. Haile Selassie is the descendant of this person through Menelik and through Solomon. And this is the understanding of how Haile Selassie came about, and that was his claim to the throne and all of that. So one thing to understand is it's important to realize that there are roots of Christianity all over Africa. Yes. So the missionaries came with the Bible with a certain false dogma, according to this doctrine, which was intended to trap people's minds. Yes. Africa was not actually meant to be evangelized by these people, because there was already evidence of Christianity within African continents. So within African territories. So through Aksum, this is where the Queen of Sheba was. Through Ethiopia, this is where the eunuch met Philip. Yeah. So this eunuch is already reading. This eunuch already has the possession. The scroll of Isaiah is already in his possession. So these people were already reading these things. This is how they're able to have the G script Bible. They have their own Bible, the oldest Bible, the biggest Bible, the oldest churches in the world. Okay, so this is crucial to understand. And if you even look further down in Zimbabwe, there's actually a tribe. Not a lot of people know this, but there's actually a tribe of true Hebrew Israelites, true Jews. Jews who claim that they came with the Ark of the Covenant, and they're actually hiding it. That's why people don't know about them, because they have their secrets. But they are actually the people who live in They actually live in Zimbabwe, and this is in the heart of Southern Africa. These people are Jewish. They're a tribe called the Chilemba. So they're actually the people who are associated with the areas like the Great Zimbabwe. They're associated with them. So they actually married into those families when they came from Israel. And these people are black. right? Obviously, they're black. So,
Yes.
all of these, and in Ethiopia, you also have Hebrew Jews that live in Ethiopia. Some of them live in Israel and all over the world. So all of these people have this understanding of Christianity, and they could read, they could write, they could reason. And what we're told is that they couldn't read, they couldn't write, they couldn't reason, which is not true. So in the Bible, you see that this eunuch is a rich dude who works in a court, and he's already reading this. So just the thing to understand is what Philip asked him, and this is the whole point of this video. The question is, do you understand the book of Isaiah? When Philip approached him, he asked him, do you understand what you're reading? So the same thing is, he was reading the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah is so important because this is the book that Jesus was quoting most of the time. So, do you understand this book? Because this book is the key to understanding what is happening in this world. So, the book of Isaiah is speaking about how the people in this world are deluded, how the people in this world have been lied to. This is why Philip asked him, do you understand what this book is talking about you, Ethiopian? Do you understand the book of Isaiah? It's talking about the Ethiopians. So when he talks about Egypt, it's actually talking about Rome.
Yes.
When he talks about Judah, it's actually talking about Africa, because these African Hebrew Israelites identify as as Jews. The Jews are everywhere in Africa.
Yes.
These people are actually the ones who have the Ark of the Covenant. So when you ask the Ethiopians, they say that they have it. When you ask the other ones in Zimbabwe, they say that they have it. So this is just the thing, that they know certain things that people don't know they know. So people who are telling you certain things are missing certain elements that distort your view of the Africans, of the Ethiopians, of everyone who is off this continent or off that continent. So having the right perspective is knowing reality and applying it to the facts.
Yes.
So when you see that this Ethiopian was reading the scroll, the scriptures, and you see the Queen of Sheba is already engaged in terms of wisdom. She actually has these wise questions to ask. It makes you wonder why it is that you don't see this side of this of Africa or of this continent in such a way that paints a perfect picture, or paints a tolerable picture, or even just a considerably close picture to what the reality of the people is, to what the reality of their way of life was, that they were people who were humble, people who were actually so smart that it's startling to even consider some of the things that they achieved with the means that they had, because some of the things that these Africans, Ethiopians did, Nubians did, we can't even do it today with our modern technology. So the next time you read the Bible, read Isaiah and ask yourself if you truly understand that it's talking about you.
All right, I'm going to have to stop you there, and I hope that y'all liked that. I really enjoyed it. It was a beautiful thing. Hey, I want you to think about the things that you just listened to.
Exciting new Toyota, you can go out and enjoy all your favorite summer
Together here.
activities.
Give me 1 second here.
Sorry.
So
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care. That's the value you can expect from Toyota.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
So, as I was
exquisite colors, stunning skin. At Staples, we sweat the details and
stop
quality
it
of
right
every
now,
project.
so let
That's
me
our
do
brand
this
name
one.
promise.
I really love what I do.
How about this? There we go. Peace and much love. Turn this around here and let you kind of get a look at who you're talking to, because I know most of you already know me. I am Elijah X. I'm the CEO of the African People Law. I've been fighting this thing with the people that's been standing behind me since 2007. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for them, because without them I couldn't be where I'm at. Starting with a former ex of mine who was deceased, peace be upon her. She was the founder of the Queens of Africa, Miss Dominique Purefoy. with the help of my daughter, Demetria, my sister-in-law, Beata, my son-in-law, Brandon, my stepsons, Marquise, Witherspoon, Lavelle, peace be upon him, Witherspoon, and their brothers and sisters they brought in. There's so many I want to give honor to that has been such a great help at keeping this organization going. And to this very day, I still do. Our new president there is young and loves wisdom. But more than anything, he has a knowledge of who he is, and he loves his people. And he was chosen by me because of what I've seen in him. So I'm asking y'all to unite with him and help him to create a strong community. Unite with Sister Jewel, Mama Jewel of Grand Rapids, Joe Sansi of Grand Rapids. These are people that are for you as a whole. They want to see good. They've been there all their lives. They love that community, but more than that, they love their people. The community, the people make the community. The community don't make the people. You don't have to move out your community to make your community beautiful. All you have to do is start within and then create without. We have beautiful community. We just need to take care of what we have. And once we start doing that, everything else automatically just blossom. We there in Grand Rapids have been fighting each other long enough. You know, when I was Elijah, it's one thing I did speak on daily, that we were not each other's enemy. Unless you were not ready to unite with us and work with us, then that means you were an enemy. But we didn't come against you in a violent way. We cut you off by not having dealings with you as our people in hope that you will repent and see how much you really need us. Because we feed one another. If we don't buy from one another, no one else is going to buy from us. That's why we have to support one another. You can start a business, and I guarantee you can open it up in that European community, but they're not going to spend no money with you. Every now and then, one or two may come in and spend with you, but they're not going to spend with you like they spend with their own. They're not going to give you that power. We must give that to ourselves. So as I was beginning to say, these people there in Grand Rapids, Mama Jewel, my brother Joe Salon, who does great poetry, and poetry is something that needed. Open mic is something that needed because it gives the people a chance to speak what's in their heart so that others can hear. It gives us a chance to express ourselves to one another. Our war is not with guns. our wars not with weapons of warfare that was created by the Europeans. Our wars with the mindset that has been created within us. We must change the way that we think, the outlook that we have, and the way that the places that our feet goes, the things that our hands do. We must change all this, and it starts within here and within here. It's created within here, and it comes out here. We are the new creation. And our children, they are to follow our paths, but they can't follow our paths if we're not doing that we need to do. If we're not teaching that we need to teach. Wake up, black people. This is Elijah X, CEO of the African People Revolutionary Time. That means total change, 360 degrees, total change. That means all things must become new. And it starts within the mind. Therefore, renew your mind with the mind of Ethiopia, with the mind of Mother Ethiopia. She's still the greatest. Like Sheba, she's still the greatest. The wisdom that comes from her is given to us as a man. You could never put yourself above woman. She's your creator. She's your nourisher. She fed you, created you, and planted the mind that is within you before anyone. And if she didn't, she should have been. And hopefully she was a righteous mother, teaching that of her people and not that of another people. We got to break away from them teachings that our parents taught us that come from others and get back to our true teaching. We're one people. And if we stand as one people, we are a powerful people. I'm going to say that again. If we as a people will stand together. First of all, number one, let me stop. We need a leader. And our great leader is going to come up out of Ethiopia. But he's going to be a leader for all his people. And he's going to unite his people. Because he knows with his people being united to him, it makes him the strongest king and Lord of all lords. Now, who he will be, I don't know. I just know that that's where he will be coming from. It won't be one of these men here in America. Because mentally he's messed up. All he sees is himself united, living in the ways that's been given to him. Because now he has a little power. And not really no power. He just got a little money. He don't have any power because any decisions he make, he has to go through them before it can be even talked about. So he still has no power. This man that I'm talking about is going to come from Ethiopia. And he will have power. Because he will have been united already with those in Mother Africa, as you want to call it. He will be then united his people as one. And in the back of his mind has always been to unite all his people together, his people from all four corners of the earth, and bring them back to the motherland so that they can be a great people. And they can go in and out of the land and teach the other nations around them because they are the true teachers. That's us. But until we unite as one, until we start looking to each other as who we are, brothers and sisters, until we start showing love to one another, we will always be a people who have another people standing on their necks. We keep asking other nations to do for us, and we keep asking other nations for their permission. We're not supposed to be asking no other people for anything. We should be asking us for permission. Do we agree with the way that we're going? And if not, which way should we go? We should have a leader that is for us, that is trying to unite with the great leaders there in Mother Ethiopia. That's the only thing we should be concerned about. The things that go on around us are the things that we let go on. The other nations cannot come in our community and kill us unless we allow it. And the only reason we allow it is because we're too busy killing one another. We want to talk about all the guns we have and how bad we are, but we don't want to protect each other. How good are you at protecting your own community? How good are you at protecting those that are among you, those that look just like you, those that are of you? Since you got the guns. How good are you at patrolling your own community and keeping the riffraff out? Why are you looking for others to do this? Aren't there men among you that are wise and strong enough to do this? Aren't there young men among you that are willing to follow the leaders of your community to do what is right for your community? And shouldn't these leaders reap some of the benefits that you reap since they're for you? If they're leaders like me, they're not going to ask you for anything. And if you give them anything, they're only going to give it right back to the people. Because they know that they can never be truly who they want to be until all of us are there. Whatever one have, it belongs to us all, because if we don't share it with each other, we have nothing. And if we share it with each other, we have everything that we need. We forgot how to share. We forgot how to love. So I leave you with one command. The command that you had all your lives, that come from all the scriptures you ever read or whatever religion you believe in. Love ye one another. Love ye us. Let us love one another as we love ourselves. And if you don't know how to love yourself, meditate upon that. Study. To love yourself is to love your people. Because you're nothing without your people. It's not good for man to live alone. But it's not good for you to bring others in too and defile who you truly are. But it's already been done. I guess the right amount of Gentiles have come in, and now it's time for us to do our thing. Seek for a leader, a king in Mother Ethiopia who truly understand that all our brothers and sisters that scattered abroad and the diaspora are all one. And he wants to unite his people from all over and bring them back home. And then find a king, a leader here, strong, that understands that without his people there in Ethiopia and around the world, he is nothing. That his power will come from his unification. And that is what he is out to do, unify. If he's not doing that, have him as no leader. If he can't see himself uniting, and if he's not the strongest, let him pass it over to the one, but let him be, he could stay in position as a counselor, one to watch out and make sure that this leader don't go off track. You don't have to be the head if you're not qualified to be the head, but you do have to have the love. Whether you're qualified to be the head or not, you might not be wise enough to know how to run it, but you're wise enough to know what should be done in it, what should come out of it. And if you're not, then that's a problem. Hey, I must go now. I want to say peace and one love to all of y'all. I've been with you long enough. I've been with you over an hour. Well, almost an hour. 55 minutes and 54 seconds of peace. One love. Elijah X, African people love. Please join our people. Join us and help us in this revolution. One.